What's going on, everybody? This is Maestro, the greatest to ever do it, here at Avant Media Institute with another video. This time we're coming to you with just a few short tricks about vocal layering. Okay? Vocal layering is when you're actually recording and stacking multiple vocals. This is usually going to be done when you don't have enough vocalists around in order to make this happen, okay? It's not that you can't do it with multiple vocalists, but it's a thing that's usually done when you're just like a solo artist, or you have maybe a small praise team, or just, you know, 2 or 3 people to work with doing your background vocals. So let's say that we're trying to create that quartet group type feel in the background, or we're trying to do like a small praise team, or even something as big as a choir. Vocal layering is a tip that we really do all the time as mixing engineers, okay? So as recording engineers, you wanna record clean vocals. The lead is definitely gonna be a part of those layers usually. And then when we go to our backgrounds, you wanna make sure that the vocalist is very precise in their performance, especially if it's being sang in unison. If it's being sang in harmonies, whether it's thirds or fifths or octaves, you still want the performance and the words to come in very lined up and precise. Okay, so let's get into that. I have a session right now pulled up here in Pro Tools, and we're gonna hear the original track first. This is the mixed version of this song, and I'm just gonna play the actual portion that has the actual layers. So right here, we have that mixed track imported into our session. Let's just hear this piece and see what we got. Okay, so of course that's mixed. It has effects on it. It has a lot of things working. The pan is different. You know, we're really working within our soundscape, okay, to make that sound really beautiful and wide, okay? But now let's look at the actual individual stems within the session itself. If I go ahead and mute this guy up top, and now we have the original track, the actual instrumental track. We have the lead vocal here in purple, and then we have some of our stacks, and they are in harmonies. Okay, so that's what the color code is about, just so you can follow along. As I play this portion right now, it's not mixed very well at this point. It's pretty much raw. It does have, we have a couple of plugins on it just to kind of give it some sense of beauty, right? But we really want to dive in to see what did we do here. So here's the lead with that instrumental. All right, so now the same person is going to actually go in and record on top of that, but at a certain time, so he can complement the lead pass that he just did, right? So what we're going to do is right here with tracks 3 and 4, or audio 3 and 4, we're going to see what they are. What stacks are they? Okay, and by doing 2 passes in this particular case, instead of just 1 pass of that harmony note, we get a wider feel from those stacks. Now look, as you go more professionally and really start, you know, diving into this thing, man, you'll learn that some artists will do 30 different stacks. And I mean, it's like ridiculous, like who's gonna mix that, right? We will. We will be the ones to mix it, but we will make it great, all right? What it does is, instead of duplicating, we don't want to just duplicate the performances, because what that does is only makes it louder, okay? Scientifically speaking, when you actually say something, you can never say the same thing the same way twice. But if we duplicate what we said, because it's so perfect, the waveforms are so perfect, it's only going to make the actual performance louder. It's not really giving us that that ambience that we're looking for, that fullness that we're looking for. It's just loud, okay? But by actually going back in and re-performing the exact same thing that we just got through doing, it actually adds to those nuances that are not exactly the same because we didn't just duplicate it. So you actually get a better feel out of your music. The emotion and the build of it becomes much better. So let's continue and just see what we are capturing with the other ones that come in. If I go ahead and mute the actual instrumental track, and let's just hear the backgrounds we have. We have these two harmonies, we have two more harmonies. It's more like a mid harmony, and then here in the light blue, we have the high harmonies. Okay, so let's just see what that sounds like a cappella. Contain the care I give forever, forever I will. And when it comes to things like vocal production, you start to actually get involved and learn that, hey, oh, I don't have to actually say the whole complete line every time. Like everybody that I'm trying to emulate all these different parts, right? But it's just me. I have to think in these different parts. Like, hey, okay, if the lead is doing this, what do I want the backgrounds to do? Once I figure out what I want the backgrounds to do, how do I want to break those apart and start layering them so that they are not so monotonous in their performance, but they actually give color to the whole entirety of the session, of the song itself. Let's look at our mix window for a second and notice that although we've gotten this beautiful array of sound that's coming at us, it's still not blended too well. We don't have any pan working, or things of that nature. So of course you want to keep your lead vocal pretty much at the middle. It's the foundation. But then you also want to start to spread those other vocals out to make sure that they become bigger within your soundscape. So we hit play. Contain the care I give forever. My highs, I like to pan them out far. Okay. Contain the care I give. We have our mid. I want to just kind of go about 60% just to kind of give it some width, but nothing as wide as the other ones. You really want to learn to use your soundscape, your stereo field, like as much as possible to really fill in all these areas and pockets that could, be destructive to our whole mix if we don't use them. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. Now, of course, I'm doing this without playing the actual music, the actual instrumental, but that's not the way you would normally do things, okay? I'm only doing it this time so you can actually hear the soundscape. But on a normal basis, you would actually play the music because you want to get involved with all the colors of the sound that is going to be played at that time. So you'll know where you're panning and placing certain elements. So let's bring those, the instrumental back in. Let's just hear what we got from the panning placement. All right, we see that audio 3 and 4 here are very prominent as a part of our layered stacks. So we don't want to turn them down too much, but we definitely want to tuck them under the lead somewhat to make sure that we still hear that lead as intimate as possible while our background vocals actually be background vocals, okay? Now let me begin to blend the other ones in. The idea is to not necessarily have to hear every single harmony that's represented here, okay? The idea is to feel it. So whenever you're doing layers and vocal stacks, you want to feel what the artist is trying to get across and not just hear it, like a person is trying to break vocals down or trying to be very meticulous in, because they're trying to teach it or something like that, like a vocal coach would do or something of that nature. When we're making this music and we're thinking about the consumer, the person that's trying to enjoy it, we want to just create the feeling. We want to make sure they enjoy the feeling and they really feel it the way that the emotions are planned to come across. Otherwise, you're just going to have a whole bunch of noise, things that sound pretty good, but without a good blend, oh man, you can really ruin things. So imagine going back to those 30, 40, 50 vocal stacks, that some R&B artist decides to do, but you don't know how to blend well. Take your time, start off with a couple of stacks at a time, ones that are like each other, and get them blended to that lead vocal. Then get the next set of them blended to those that are blended. And work your way through until you really feel like you have discovered that magic, that feeling that you're looking for from the vocal stacks. Other than that, once you get a good blend, you have good pan placement, then you can start actually adding all your effects and soundscapes, things delaying over here, reverb real nice and big on certain stacks while other ones stay intimate. There's really more that can go into it to really beautify it the way you expect it to be. But until next time, just work on your vocal layering and everything else will come in play. Once again, this is your boy Maestro. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe at the Avant Media Institute channel. Peace.